I really am so excited about this because I've had so many friends that are that have gone through transition in their lives. I've mentored many people through the careering process, and I've realized we really have to wake up to some critical issues we have in our society. And one of them, the best described of how valuable this book is a good friend of mine who has 5 kids and a very devout Catholic and a very devout father to help his kids. When I said that Dana was going to work on a book that had influenced by Catholicism for not just the people looking for the next job, but the massive underemployed in our culture, he said, good luck in the church. And it really affected me because here he was a devout Catholic and he felt as a younger man that wasn't being served at the time. And that's when I realized this is the greatest time to move this stuff forward. And I also want to say, in my research, I've seen lots of wonderful programs that do exist that are already simultaneously recognizing the importance of addressing the underemployed in our community. You know, if you've got some type of job that just barely gets you by but doesn't let you get by, they take you off the list. And there's so many things that take people off the list. And that's what I mean of the importance of the underemployed. And the other thing I want to talk about is the importance of us understanding there is a career that is a dynamic process in our lives today. There is no job security. And it is horrible what we're doing sometimes to our kids to not teach them the value of the return on investment of them as a product and the importance of marketing themselves as a product. I know because in our social media management class, we've had 5 wonderful young people come in with debts over $100,000 sometimes with education, and they weren't able to get a job, and they were in marketing. And what I found was missing is the marketing courses didn't teach them how to market themselves. Their parents told them don't do something stupid on Facebook, but they didn't tell them to get on LinkedIn and to have a customer or employer-facing profile, that they needed content out there, that they had to personally market themselves, that was part of their responsibility, and it's part of all of our responsibility. You see, the great news about the employment issue is we have a chance to be better people by working together and getting over our issues with each other and finding ways to help each other so that person will remember us when we need help. And that's the exciting thing I see, because I see the kids like under 24 still haven't figured out LinkedIn exists. And then we get the people, I'm 57, we get the over 50 crowd that goes, well, I don't need it. Well, yes, you do, because you need to be a darn good model for the younger people. You have a responsibility to give back by doing it. You need to maybe write an extra article on LinkedIn showing your expert knowledge. So the great exciting thing about this is to me is the perfect time for a book like this that has a Catholicism approach with a very amazing Pope that's truly innovative to new things. And I'm an outsider looking in, and I'm seeing younger and older people more excited about their Catholic faith than ever before. And then things like what I heard from you, where we really have an underemployed intention here, which I never heard before. So, you know, as an outsider, I think this is the perfect time for a movement like this of careering, where you don't just go to a job place, get a job, and then put your head down. You actually ongoingly are part of a process like careering. That's why it's called careering, to help others while you have something, and then when you need it, you've invested in that bank, so they're ready to help you. So I really want you to do what I did. Dana's a good friend, and I know both of them, and I'm so honored to have been part of it. But the first thing I did when I heard about the book is I bought 5 copies to give away. And if all of you buy 5 copies to give away, guess what? You're actually donating to people that will help. The greatest thing I heard is when they got to write a check, they were so excited, they called me and said, we got money to give them from our book. So this is how you can start. You know, I remember when I've written several books, and they go, well, are you going to give me a complimentary copy? And I saw on the social media one, I said, well, how about you pay me $1,000 of consulting, and I'll give you a free book, because that's what's in my book. You know, if you think of it, there's about $1,000 of free consulting for a career you could give somebody. And in this book on careering, you can, let me grab a copy first. In this book on careering, you're giving back. Part of the profits from this are going to good causes to help other people, both unemployed and underemployed. So again, it's a real honor to be part of it. Hats off to them. And I want to say, as a business person, it took a lot of guts to say, we're going to make this Catholicist-based, you know, versus just everybody. You know, we're going to commit to something, and we're going to focus, and we want to give back to our church. We want to give back to ours. It's available to everyone, but you want to recognize that's another level of courage than just trying to market to everyone. So anyway, hats off to these guys.
Thank you, Martin. That was very kind, and I have to add, you know, he mentioned, you know, Martin is, he teaches a social media certificate program at NC State, and we're seeing more and more of that at the universities because the ongoing continuing training that you have to do, lifelong learning in your career. And as far as social media, I have to tell you, I'm new to it, and I'm trying to have an open mind, and I can tell you that a lot of us, and I think it's true, that your social media, you learn a lot from your kids about social media, like Facebook, and I knew about LinkedIn, but I always tell everybody that when my daughter Andrea was in high school, she was on Facebook. So I got Facebook, and I remember, I think I got unfriended from her twice.
This is the same one with the application.
Right, this is the one, this is Andrea who hired me. And I have to share with you today, she's graduating App State. We're going tomorrow, and woo-hoo! And she's landed a job. She's going to Japan to work for a program. So it's very good, but social media is a lot part of branding yourself, what Martin was telling me.
By the way, the first time I met his daughter, and she started helping us with the social media part, and I met her, and I looked at her, she said, yeah, I'm going to Japan, I'm going to do this, and I said, you're going to end up being vice president of Toyota marketing. Yeah, that's what I want. Right, Barbara?
Oh, yes.
Well, in closing, as we said, you can make a difference. You are here, Dan and I are Army of Two for the careering movement, and now you're part of the careering movement. We've learned there's no such thing as permanent work. There's no such thing really as retirement. It's a career change, but you can make a difference today. And then with this whole movement, is like Martin said, buy multiple copies of the book, give it to friends, family in need. It's got instructions in the appendix on how to start a career network ministry. We passed out some reasons of the value of these ministries or groups. It's like the meetup groups. It facilitates helping and mentoring. You have so much knowledge here, especially us groomers, that we can pass on and share. I had a particular person in our group laid off from a company, came in, wanted to start over. He said, well, I want to start a business. And I said, well, you need a mentor or whatever. And he said, well, I want a better bagel. He was from New York. He said, there's none of those New York bagels here. I said, okay. Well, and it's all about helping each other, connecting. Well, I helped him connect with a parish member that used to have a bagel shop here in Apex. I said, get up with them, spend some time, look over his shoulder. He did. He was gone for a couple months, so he kind of like went and he says, helped out. Well, he came back in about 3 months saying, no way. Just no way. He was about to spend all this money to start a business, but that's the part of it. So part of this is become a mentor of anybody. You've got so much value you can share with it. It says you either join or start a group. It could be as simple as a cup of coffee. We're promoting that the parishes are all different throughout the diocese, But it could be coffee once a week after church, somewhere, maybe at Panera Bread. But to facilitate that sharing and giving, and you're rewarded, especially when you have something to contribute because you're giving them advice and it makes you feel good. As far as with, like with the Knights of Columbus, the great organization giving so much information and helping people. Knights are perfect with all their knowledge of being able to share, and it gets people that are partially active and inactive engaged. Our church, we have guest speakers that come in and just, hey, tell us about your job. Yesterday we had Lloyd, I don't know if Lloyd's still here, he came in and shared some great experiences about managing his career. And it was like, every 4 years, it's just like at Nortel, the second time I got back, I was ducking under the cubicle each time the layoff, reaper came by. It was that. Invest time and money in your own career helping others, even if you're fully retired. You've got so much, and it helps you keep engaged. I read that retirement's supposed to be one of the hardest things because you've got to have purpose and give back and feel needed. It's perfect. And then introduce us to people and organizations who might be interested in the Carreering movement. Dana and I are ready. We're ready to go help. St. Francis is here, Mary Magdalene, any of these churches or groups, regardless, we're here to show them a model of how it can help them, help the community, and make everything to be a much better place in managing your career and weather this new world of work. It has changed, and like I say, I'm a boomer, and I'm not going to go start about climate change or anything, but I look back, I had this in the book, but he cut it. But I saw a special about Henry Ford. Henry Ford got us off the farm. The whole new generation left the farm and went to the city, and then these are big movements in a way. Nobody wanted to stay on the farm anymore. And then came the internet and the new world of work and the global economy. And I think we're all going to go back to the farm. Not the funny farm, but the farm. So, in closing, Dana, you have anything else you want to add? But thank you.
Well, I just want to say, I know that people here are already running these groups, and so you are a testament to how effective it can be. In fact, those who belong to career groups, job groups, mastermind groups, accountability groups, whatever they are, inside or outside of churches, right? Statistics show they do 20 to 30% better in terms of performance. So it's a no-brainer. And how much does it cost? To form these groups. But I think in forming these groups, they need direction. And the number one thing I see is that groups get formed by people usually that are out of work. They come in, they get it going, a lot of energy, excitement, and then they get a job and it goes away. So, part of the plan, I think, is to build in some leadership and sustainability part. Bob Gates is shaking his head because he knows he's got a 60-hour-a-week job as a retired guy running a career group right at your church. So, so he knows what I'm talking about. But it can be very simple. You don't have to over-engineer it, right? Just start something small, get some other careering champions going, and get going with this. Sterling can tell you we've got groups outside of the church, family mastermind. Barbara is here. There's a mastermind group she started, and it's amazing how much time and effort is saved because a brief conversation about something I'm working on, trying to get done, and all of a sudden, somebody comes up with an idea that saves me about 40 hours, 50 hours or $1,000 or whatever. So very, very important. The other thing is that I think we've become abundantly clear that the internet and social media, as much as Martin and I've taken his class and he and I did this conversation, but it's a great medium, but it's only a tool. And people don't realize, as Dwight Eisenhower said, nothing replaces personal contact. And so I think we have to encourage these kids particularly, get out and make eyeball contact at least once, get to know that person somewhat. And then if you have virtual conferences and, get the work done that way or find a job that way, that's fine. but make those personal connections, just like we're doing this morning. It makes all the difference in the world. And so I think those are a couple of key themes here. Organizations that might like to benefit, we're building a webinar that'll be free. We're offering to meet with groups that want to talk, and we'll do that for free, initial consultation, to go through all the various models that we know exist. So I appreciate being here. I think we're out of time. Thank you all very much.